Hi, my name is Susan Weimer and welcome to my YouTube channel for another video for Picket Studios. And we will be working with the large stamp, the Botan Peony, that was released in April 14th of 2019. And the sentiment is from an older stamp set. And I was planning on using the alcohol lift-off technique because the lines on this stamp are so thick and bold, and I thought it would be perfect, but you'll see we're going to encounter multiple mistakes along the way, but we are going to problem solve. So I have some glossy cardstock. I decided to use that today instead of Yupo. I don't know why. My alcohol ink blending solution, the lift-off ink, and then I used my refill ink. That was V04, RV11, RV63. So these are the colors that you would use to color a peony. Actually, it's RV66. Then R56, which is one of my favorite colors, and I'm not sure why it's an R, not an RV, but. And then RV69, the name of which is actually peony. And then I have this little blue tool. I can't find something that looks like the tool that Jessica Frost Ballas uses, but that ends up not working, so we're going to go with a straw. And pretty much that's it. I've got the paper out on my craft mat, my white tonic craft mat. I forget the name of it. So that obviously didn't work, so then I just blew it around with the straw, which was great. And I wanted to add some purple in here to, or violet rather, to get just another colorway going and to add some dimension and more interest to this, because if I had been watercoloring, I eventually probably would have added a violet or somewhere, splashed it on there, done something. But anyway, so that's our V11, which is one of my favorite shades of pink. If I was going to paint a little girl's bedroom, it would be our V11. So I'm concentrating the color down in the bottom because the center of the peony is going to be stamped down there, or at least that is my plan. And so I've splashed them. I think that's the RV66. And at this point, I probably should have left well enough alone. I did add a splash of, I think that's the R56, yeah. And you're going to see where I make some mistakes. The first thing is that I don't use enough alcohol ink blending solution. This card has a lot of highly textured areas, which would be great for the foiling technique, but is not good for the lift-off technique because it just obviously takes more amount of time to get that amount of thick ink. And right here is where I should have dropped a bomb of the alcohol ink blending solution. And I deliberately wanted it to be dripping past where I was going to have the flower. I thought that would add some more dimension. Excuse my head, but I'm using the straw, and so yeah. But so this is it. You can see how it's going to dry really thick and sticky down there. So my advice would be is to use your blending solution a little more liberally, especially if you're on glossy cardstock. On Yupo, sometimes I think I can overdo it. I do anyway. But anyway, so I've added a little bit of adhesive to my MISTI, so I can put this down, and you can see that it's sticky. It's dry, but it's sticky. It might have helped had I dried this overnight. But I didn't have that much time. I had a small window of opportunity to get this card done and then to get the video done. And as it is, we're coming up here on supper time and there's no supper again. But it's just my husband and I, so that's good. It'll work. So this is my alcohol ink blending pad. So years ago, we used to use black archival ink to do this same thing. And then some years later, they came out with the colors. And then somewhere along the line, I don't know if Jennifer McGuire suggested it to them or what, Ranger decided to just put out the base. So this is the lift-off ink, I believe, is just the base medium that's in archival ink. So you can see it's starting to lift the ink off. But years ago, we just used to use black archival ink, and it worked just as fine, just as well. So I've changed cloths to this really inexpensive washcloth that I got. I get them at Target. I think they're 10 in a bunch for $5 something. Not sure. Haven't had to do it in a while. So anyway, I'm still going to go over here, and I have to tell you that honestly, I tried this about 10 times, trying to lift all that thick ink up. And I thought that my Lift-Off ink pad was too dry. Maybe I wasn't sure what was going on. I knew I had a stickiness issue, but I thought maybe I had a pad that was too dry. So I got out my Rose Madder archival ink, which is the closest in color. And so if it did leave anything behind, it wasn't going to be anything that shows. And again, in the olden days, we did this with the black archival ink. I'm just taking another look at it. And sorry, I'm off camera a little bit. The way my video is set up, and for me to get maximal impact, I have to be off camera a little bit. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to stamp the sentiment, which is take extra care of yourself from our ways to get well. So while I was doing that, I said, how can I fix this? Because this just doesn't look right. And I said, I could heat emboss this on vellum, because I'd already moved the stamp, so I couldn't heat emboss back onto the glossy cardstock. So you'll see it. I put the vellum down right into that pile of adhesive. So I'm just going to add some white embossing powder onto this, and this does emboss beautifully because of the bold lines. It's gorgeous. I have my tool has been heating up off of camera, and I should have backed out a little bit, but anyway, I keep moving it and moving it around the vellum so that I don't warp it. You'll still get a little warping, but it's really no big deal. Now all that adhesive on the back is on the back there, so mistake number whatever, but at least I used my embossing buddy. I did. So I'm just using one of the adhesive removers. I think they're from Tombow. And I'm going to get all that adhesive off and save this because I'm not doing this again. And so I go to lay it on top of the card, and I realize, you know what? I think I would really rather have it cut out instead of just laying the vellum on top of the alcohol ink. So I'm just going to quick show you a little bit of my fussy cutting where I'm just rotating the paper, keeping to the boundaries, but that's super easy to cut out. And then I'm just going to lay this, lining it up with the lines that I can see from the lift off. So I also have some adhesive still in the back of my cardstock. It was a day. You know what? It was a good day in my craft room. I learned a lot and I had fun. But now you can see that the vellum has picked up some of what I thought was the dry alcohol ink. But again, I'm working in the sticky areas. So I'm going to put that sentiment strip on there. And I'm still looking at it, I'm thinking, how am I going to deal with, should I use black to take away kind of, you can see the marks of the alcohol ink that lifted up. And again, I do think if I had done this overnight, I decided to go with the white and lay that down. And you'll see we're going to cover this up. I popped up the sentiment strip with some foam tape that I managed to put back into the right place last night so I didn't have to go hunting all over my room. And we're going to add some sequins. My other favorite trick, I think it's probably everybody's, to cover up smudges, problems. And I'm going with a darker pink, a lighter pink, and I think a clear sequin. And I think these are from Neat and Tangled, but I'm terrible about labeling my sequins. I don't have that other sequin thing that everybody else has. Anyway, so here's some Gina glue, Connect glue. And then I have that jewel pick thing that's sticky on the bottom. And I'll include that in the links in the description box below. But I'm just going to adhere these, and it doesn't look half as bad as it did. I'm pretty happy about it. I saved it, and there you go. You can save a card. You can keep going. Just keep trying. You can do it. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you have a question, leave one down in the comment box below. I'd love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. I try to have one video a week. So thank you. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.